Meta is reportedly shaking up its AI team after months of delays on that latest Llama 4 behemoth model. Could it signal the debate around slowing AI progress is reemerging? Our Deirdre Bosa is looking into that for today's Tech Check. Morning, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So that Meta shakeup delay, along with other signs of slowed momentum, it really underscores a disconnect in AI between spending and progress that could test investor patience just as NVIDIA gears up to report tonight. Now, earlier on in the race, we got model advances. It seemed like every few months. Now, however, it's longer windows between upgrades. You've got delays, and even Anthropic's latest Claude models, they show some mixed gains. Now, these are Anthropic's own numbers. Claude Opus 4 improves on coding tasks, but it barely edges out rivals on reasoning, and it actually falls behind OpenAI on visual tasks and math. Tool use, that is a key step towards autonomous agents, that barely moved. And in its own tests, the model resorted to blackmail in rare scenarios. And that is certainly a troubling result for companies whose edge is supposed to be safety. Now, Meta's edge, let's talk about it. It is and has been open source. But even with Llama, the company is struggling to ship. And the latest restructuring splits its AI efforts into two teams. There's one for products and one for AGI research. Now, this is all meant to speed up output, but it's also an admission to investors that their AI org may have been pointed in the wrong direction. Then there's DeepSeek's highly anticipated R2 model, which still hasn't arrived. Instead, the Chinese lab just quietly announced a minor trial upgrade to R1. There's no details, no benchmarks, and no timeline for what comes next. Now, this is the same startup that shook markets in January with a model that claimed to rival our best ones for a fraction of the cost. But questions around R2 could raise further questions about whether that early hype was actually sustainable. Now, put this all together, mixed model performance, slower release cycles, a major reorg at Meta, it all adds up to that growing disconnect. And even without the breakthroughs, though, guys, usage, it is surging, and that's powering demand for inference chips and infrastructure. NVIDIA is still the biggest beneficiary there. But investors may start asking, as they have before, how long can the spend justify itself?
So what is the fund? Is there a common reason for the delays across the group, or is it sort of unique case by case?
There is a common thread. I mean, and we started to see this late last year, and that is the so-called data wall, right? We're just running out of data to train these models on. So you go up instead on reasoning with Jensen Huang, which many others have talked about, and that has provided those gains, but more on the inference side. But it is notable that we still don't have sort of that killer app beyond, ChatGPT and the chatbots, and that's what sort of hurt the AI trade for most of this year, right? We didn't see that. And then we had DeepSeek come along, and there's still questions there that haven't been answered. So I think, going into NVIDIA tonight, the key question is inference enough to sort of make up for that, for the training that we're lacking right now? We talked about sovereign AI yesterday. Is that enough? But these are questions when you see these models' progress stalling that we come back to again.
Got it. We'll look for all of that. Thank you, Deirdre. Deirdre Bosa.